Hey, today we're going to go over the settings. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to Account and then click Settings, and it's going to bring you to this screen. We're going to start with currency, so you want to click on the currency setting. And here you can choose from different currencies. We have a handful to choose from. If you don't see your currency listed in here, you can email me and I will add it. So once you choose your currency, the default is the United States dollar USD. So if you use USD, you don't need to do anything. But if you need to change it to something else, then you can choose something else. But this is how your currency will be displayed in the ESM. And if you sync Stripe, or you send an invoice to a client and they pay, this is the currency that they will be paying in. It's important to make sure that this is set correctly. All right, to go back to the main settings, you can just click Settings. And next we're going to go over integration. So we have two different integrations. We have Stripe and we have Google Calendar. So first we'll start with Stripe. What you're going to want to do is click Connect, and it's going to redirect us to Stripe. I'm currently in development mode, so it'll look a little bit different when you do it. But if you already have a Stripe account, you can log in. And if you don't have a Stripe account, it'll be a big form for you to fill out. And you fill out the form, and then it'll redirect you back to the Essential Studio Manager once it's been connected. And so basically, once you set this up, this will allow a payment form on your invoices. So anytime you send an invoice, it'll have a payment form so that your clients can send you a payment. The Google Calendar feature is a way for you to sync events from the ESM to your Google Calendar. Now keep in mind that when you connect your Google Calendar, it's not going to sync all your events that you currently have to the ESM calendar or sync anything from your Google Calendar to the ESM. This is going to sync all future events that you create. So if you connect your Google Calendar and then you book a session, it'll sync it to your Google Calendar, but it won't sync past events that you created before syncing your Google Calendar. So just keep that in mind. You'll click this, it'll redirect you to Google, and then you just click Authorize and it'll be connected. All right, on to the next setting, tax information. So we have sales tax here. Basically, this any time you enter an income, you have the option to check add sales tax, and this is where that's calculated from. So whatever you set here, when you check that box on an income, to give you an example, if we go to finances incomes, and if I want to create an income, you'll see right here it says add sales tax. So whatever the amount is, if I click this, it's gonna figure out what the sales tax is based off the settings that I have here. Tax year. Now, if your tax year is January 1st to December 31st, you don't have to worry about this because that's the default. But like in Australia, I know some people have different tax years. So if your tax year is different than January 1st to December 31st, you'll want to set that here. And this is how all your incomes, all your data will be displayed based off that the tax year that you set right here. Keep in mind that you will need to set it each year. So for instance, if I set my tax year this year, next year your incomes aren't going to display correctly until you set your tax year for the next year. The next setting that we're going to go over is mileage details. So before you can add mileage, you'll have to come here and add this information. So basically your standard mileage rate so that it can calculate your cost, and then your unit of measure. In the United States, we use miles, but other places they use kilometers. So just choose it based off whatever you use. Business details. This is your business name, your address, your zip code, and then your time zone. So your time zone is selected when you register. It gets your time zone for wherever your computer is at, and it saves it for you automatically. Now, if you say you move somewhere else and it's a different time zone, all you have to do is come here and click submit, and it'll update your time zone based off wherever you're at that time. And the last setting is the user details. So here's your information like your first name, last name, your email. If you change your email, you will be logged out of the system and you will have to re-verify your email account. So just keep that in mind. You can choose an avatar. You can unsubscribe from our newsletter. Also keep in mind, this doesn't include like system emails. For instance, if you receive a new potential client, you're going to receive an email notifying you that you received the new potential client. This isn't going to unsubscribe you from that. This just unsubscribes you from our marketing emails. And then delete account. If you want to delete your account, you just enter delete here in all caps and then click delete account. Keep in mind that all your data will be wiped, and it's irreversible. So we can't get that data back if you go this option. And that is it for the settings. Once you get all this set up, you can move on to the next step, which would be customize. And this is where you're going to go to set up all your forms. And I'm going to go over all this in a separate video.